Hello, everyone. My guest today is Doug Breaker. He serves as the CEO of Scripted.com, a marketplace of freelance copywriters and providers of strategic content marketing services. Doug, are you ready to take us to the top?
I am. Let's do it.
All right. So very good. Talk to us about the company. What's Scripted do and how do you make money? Is this kind of a marketplace plus SaaS model?
Yeah. So I joined Scripted in February. So I've been here, 10 months now. Prior to me joining, Scripted was a freelance marketplace of freelance writers. You could come in, get anything written you wanted, a blog post, a white paper, whatnot. Since I've joined, we're moving a bit more towards kind of managed content marketing to be an alternative to Facebook ad spend or Google ad spend, using a whole bunch of crazy analytical SEO tools to give you the kind of the most efficient, most effective content marketing calendar possible.
Okay, so I'm going to try and decode that. You're moving more to enterprise.
Sure. No, not enterprise. Actually, our target customers are usually 5 to 100 people. We're usually dealing with the founder, CEO type, head of marketing.
Okay.
Companies that really want to get tons of qualified traffic without having to go pay AdWords or Facebook ads, continually for that traffic.
And I mean, generally speaking, is this like a SaaS model? They're kind of paying per month and there's services on top of it, or how do you structure pricing?
Yeah, we have a subscription fee every month, and then the content is extra.
I see. Okay. And what is so let's break down both those. I'm sure you have a bunch of different cohorts, but on average, what's just the flat kind of SaaS fee per month?
Yeah, we have three levels. We have $149, $299, and then our cruise control is kind of the managed content marketing is right around $1,000 a month.
Okay, so what would you say like a fair average is, like 500 a month or 100 or?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
In that okay, 500-ish?
500, yeah.
Okay.
Between the three plans.
Interesting. Now, everyone listening right now, what they're going to be thinking is, well, wait a second, is there touch on this thing? Are margins crap, or is he still in the 85 kind of percent range, even with some customization here?
Yeah, no, our margins are pretty solid. So the subscription fee goes, that's all margin with, their Stripe fees and everything else. And then the content fees, we don't actually make that much off the content, but the subscription fees make up a good portion of the money.
Even if it's a loss leader, the other side.
Yeah, and then on the higher plans, we're charging $1,000 a month. You get an account manager for that, but one account manager can handle enough accounts where that still comes in at good margin.
Yeah, that's interesting. How many accounts typically?
We're above 20 for one account manager now.
That's pretty healthy. And put this on a timeline for me. I know you just joined recently, but when was the company actually launched?
Don't quote me on this, but 2011. So just a bit of background. Scripted is owned by a little private equity company named Xenon. Xenon Ventures. It's xenon.io if you want to check it out. So Xenon's whole thesis is, hey, we'll come in and buy SaaS companies that have raised a bunch of funding that are, 5, 6, 7 years in, that aren't going to make it to the $1 billion valuation that they thought, but that they want a graceful exit. So Xenon purchased Scripted last summer, and then I joined in February after rolling off a prior Xenon company.
Earth Class?
Yeah, Earth Class.
And that was the exit, I believe, to ScaleWorks.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's funny that Siegel, Lou Mormon, Ed, San Antonio, kind of mafia. It's a very tight crew there.
It is, yeah.
Were you at Rackspace too?
No, I came out of orbits.com, the travel site, and then HomeFinder.com, which is a big real estate website.
Interesting. And so, just out of curiosity, since you kind of went from ScaleWorks to Xenon, I'd say Xenon is just basically playing on smaller companies than what ScaleWorks is at. What do you like more about kind of the smaller Xenon approach versus ScaleWorks?
Yeah, and just to give you a bit of background, I've known Jonathan Siegel since 2007, since my Orbits days. So he and I have been good friends for a long time. And he brought me into Earth Class Mail. So I was actually Xenon before ScaleWorks.
Oh, interesting.
Back to Xenon. But yeah, the difference is Xenon does smaller companies. So typically employee size under 10, or maybe under 20. Revenue size, usually it's under 5. It totally depends on the company. Where ScaleWorks, their skill set is much more applicable to companies that really need to grow employee base. So like definitely above 20 people.
Yep.
And these are just rough numbers, but and then the challenges are a bit different. So Xenon is much more, the kind of the smaller company.
And what is your team size today?
We're at 9 right now.
At 9, that's good. It's small, nimble. Yep. That's great. Raised any capital since the acquisition, or no? Just bootstrap basically.
No. Xenon. What we do is we get cash flow positive, and then build growth off of cash flow.
So you are cash flow positive today.
Yep.
That's great. Yep. And over the past kind of since you've joined, what have you scaled total customer base to?
We are in the upper hundreds now.
Okay.
But the cruise control, our kind of managed content marketing, went from 0 in May, and now we're, let's say, almost 50 on that one.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, that's great.
So,
well, yeah. So, I mean, when you say upper hundreds, I'm going to assume that's like between 500 and 1,000. Is that a fair assumption?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. So, I mean, look, if we just take 500 there as a minimum and then take that ARPU you gave me earlier, I can obviously do the math. I mean, that would put you at a minimum of kind of 250 per month. Is that generally accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. And what's growth look like? So a year ago, where were you at? By the way, I should disclose this to you in case you haven't heard it. We did have Ryan on, who is also now back with Xenon, as you know.
Yeah, no, Ryan's a good friend. He's great.
He came on the show, though, before the sale. I think that's how Jonathan Siegel, I actually connected. I believe, I'm not sure if I can take credit for this, but I think I actually connected them. So Ryan told us when he came on what they were doing per month, and it was like around 150, but that was like, I want to say 18, 19 months ago. So where were you at a year ago?
Yeah, 18, 19 months ago, Ryan was right there. We were a little bit above that.
Okay.
So there was a space last fall where they spiked a little bit. They launched a managed service product, but it was sell everything to everybody, and that one churned really hard. So we kind of had a reset earlier this year. But we're growing not like nearly as fast as everybody wants, because nobody ever does that. But we're growing enough.
Yeah. Well, just to be clear, so it sounds like about a year ago, you might have been about like 180 a month or 190 a month, something like that. Now you're 250 north.
Yeah, those are generally pretty accurate.
Yeah, that's healthy growth. And is most of that coming from expansion, selling these managed things to the old base, or it's new customers totally?
A little bit of both. So the way we're doing cruise control now, we get definitely some expansion off of that, of old customers that just say, hey, managing this myself is too hard. And doing all of the hours and days of SEO research, like, I'd just rather have you do that. And then we're also bringing in new people to that too, to say, we're doing actually pretty well with like portfolios. So whether it's like a small PE portfolio or a guy with like 3 sites, or a woman, doesn't have to be a guy, where he says, I really like this. I want to do it for this site, and then I want to do it for this site, and I want to do it for this site. That's there's a decent amount of the cruise control base that looks like that.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Talk to me about revenue churn per year. What's that at?
Way too much.
What is it, like 20%, 30%?
No, less than that. Between 10 and 20.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard because we charge a fee, whereas Upwork doesn't charge a monthly fee. Most of our competitors, there's a bunch. Writer Access charges a fee now, but Text Broker. If you just search like content writing, like the whole first page of Google is competitors that don't charge a monthly fee.
Yep.
And writing quality varies, but so we charge a fee, so that is contributing to churn. And then we need to do a better job of showing people exactly how to do content marketing. Because when it's done right, it really, really works. And it's a better investment than paid ads.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So 10% revenue churn per year. I do know, though, that you guys are at least running some tests. This is typical Siegel playbook in terms of testing. If you can spend $1 to get $2, what are you spending on CAC right now?
Total blended is right around $1,000.
Okay. So that's good. If $500 a month on average coming in, so 2-month payback is max.
Yeah. And we're eating our own dog food. So we're doing a ton of content stuff. And so it's not quite as trackable as the paid side. And so the question is like, hey, how high can you push the paid side? Does that scale with spend, right? Does the CAC stay the same as you spend more? And then on the content side, that's like a good year investment. You can get early hits, but you really have to put a good 6 to 12 months into that to see a really great return on it.
Yeah,
but you do, which is awesome.
And the 9 folks you have, is everyone in Chicago, or are they all over?
7 are in Chicago. 1 is in Vegas. 1 is in San Fran right now.
Okay, so Chicago and kind of remote. Walk me through in your head how you think about what you're doing right now, because kind of this model, what Siegel had, there's a lot of these firms like this popping up that are like a Xenon or a Scaleworks, right? They're call it less than $100 million fund, buying $1 million to $10 million ARR companies, running a playbook and then flipping and selling them. So do you see yourself as like, in your head, you got to get up, you want to get up to maybe 4 or 5, well, actually you're already north of that, but let's say you want to get up to $5 million in ARR, and then you're going to, your Sky in San Fran's going to sell it for, 4X, and then you're going to stay in Xenon and do the next project. Is that kind of how you think about it, or?
Yeah, everyone's unique. Like, so when I was at Earth Class Mail, Xenon sold that after 18 months to Scaleworks. And then I stayed on for another 10 months, and then just decided to come back into Xenon. It all depends. Like, I think each one's unique. It worked out for me this last time, and we'll see what happens this next time. But generally, that's the plan of, hey, come in, get it cash flow positive, grow it, make it really attractive to sell to a strategic, and then, see what the deal holds. If it's a great company, you want to stay, stick around. If not, stick around for a little bit and then walk and do the next one.
If you're only optimizing for personal wealth, based off what you've seen, would you say it's more effective to buy companies and turn them around, or to start them all from scratch?
Definitely buy.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. By the way, no one thinks about this, but I agree.
Yeah, no, the founding teams, God bless them, have gone through all of that pain of like building the product, finding the customers, building the base, and then having seen so many of these things now through Xenon, we come in and you can see the similarities and what works and what doesn't. So it's much easier to come in and buy than to build from scratch.
I agree. All right, very good. Let's wrap up here with the famous 5. Number 1, what's your favorite business book?
Favorite business book is Good to Great by Jim Collins.
Number 2, is there a kind of under the radar CEO that you're following in Chicago?
In Chicago, he's not CEO anymore, but my buddy Chris Brown, I knew him at Orbitz. He ran Kapow events for the last 3 years and just sold it. He's amazing. I don't think his next gig is public yet, so I'm not allowed to say, but
all right, Kapow
he's
events.
Awesome.
Good.
Yeah.
Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building your company besides your own?
Great question. It's not ours, but just content, and like very well written, unique, awesome content. Because you build the followers and you build the people interested in it, and that just keeps paying dividends over and over again.
Vista owns Automated Insights. They bought a while ago, and they essentially create content. You upload a data set, and they basically make it sound like natural language. So a lot of people, when they do like their investor reports, will use this. You don't come across them when in your sales process, do you at all?
No, but Narrative Sciences, which is a competitor, is here in Chicago as well. And we talked to them a bunch when I was at HomeFinder, the real estate website, about creating automated real estate content. But it's not something we worry about too much with Scripted and what we do. It works really well when you have a really defined data set, and the articles are really formulaic.
Yep.
But that's just a small portion of content out there.
Yeah. So just to be clear, your engine is still powered by a huge army of freelance writers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we paired that with a lot of data of like, hey, here's what's ranking on Google. Here's the word count. Here's the readability grade level. Here's the SEO targeting score. Go look at all these articles. Come up with something that you think can be better.
Yep. Number four. How many hours of sleep are you getting every night?
I have 4 kids, so it really varies on.
Jeez, Doug.
Anywhere between 5 and 8.
Okay.
Somewhere in there.
Cool. We'll call 6.5 there on average. And situation, obviously 4 kiddos, married?
Oh yeah. Married 12 years now.
Congrats. That's great. And how old are you?
I am, 42.
42. Last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
I would tell my 20-year-old self to just starting businesses. It wasn't quite as easy then. That was right around 2000. It got a lot easier in 2005, 2006. But just start companies faster, guys. There you have it from Doug. Scripted, company founded back in 2011. He came in about a year ago. We had previous founder on, but they're bootstrapped to date, part of Xenon. They've got about north of 500 customers, paying an ARPU of called around $500, so about 250 grand right now. Healthy growth, caught up from 180 grand a year ago. He's trying to figure out how to bring revenue churn down. Currently, it's caught between 10 and 20% revenue churn per year, spending about $1,000 to get a $500 a month customer. So 2-month payback, 9-person team in Chicago and other remote locations, again, helping you scale your content marketing. Doug, thanks for taking us to the top. Thanks so much.